when after the battle they keep the count, then they make the count, then they know that it was only the losses they suffered. So this is exactly what has happened to the movements of hostility against Ahmadiyya community. Look at the records in two eras. One prior to the movement, read their claims in their newspapers. And then after every movement, read their analysis of their failures. One after the other, they come out with another excuse that we failed because of this, we failed because of that, this happened and that happened. And ultimately, they say that they have emerged stronger than ever before. This is the verdict, invariably, of the most hostile enemy of Ahmadiyya after every encounter. Go back to the pre-encounter stage and they say, now it has the time come when we are going to uproot Ahmadiyya as if it never existed. The claims are so tall and so hostile and threatening that if you remember very well, during the Ahrar movement, the first Ahrar movement of Qadian, 33, 34 or 34, 35. During that period, Maulana Ataullah Shah Bukhari declared it in Qadian that you will see in a matter of days, Ahmadiyyat will be uprooted from every place, even from Qadian, to the extent that after a while, when people would come to Qadian and ask what Ahmadiyyat was, people would say, no, we don't know, never heard of it. And we will demolish the entire buildings of Qadian and raise them to the ground. And he was a good speaker of a sort, mob exciter. And he said, eat se eat baja denge. Qadian ki eat se eat baja denge. Look at those claims. And look at the analysis later on about the Ahrar movement, how it failed, how the movement came to a most disastrous end. And how the very supporters of Ahrar started writing poems of invectives against them. Look at Maulana Zafar Ali Khan's poem about these very Ahrars, where he says, Islam ke Ahrar, Islam na, Punjab ke Ahrar, Islam ke Gaddar. It's a beautiful poem. He himself was an Ahrari before that. So this happened that time, this happened in 53, pre-53 era and post-53 era. This happened in 74, look at the pre-74 era and post-74 era. And this is going to happen this time, that I assure you. Inshallah. With a bigger bang, inshallah, the whole world would hear the resounding of Ahmadiyya victory, inshallah. And I can see the very signs appearing. You see, inshallah, this is going to happen. This is a history which is unchangeable. Right from the time of Adam, it is consistent. Not a single instance can be quoted where this history can be changed. For the last 100 years we are observing this. How can we lose faith? Because at our back we have the full history of religion and all the pious people that ever were among mankind. Now look at this, their excuses. They are so interesting to read after they fail. First they say that now we have come to the arena and now we will see how Ahmadis are saved from our hands or our hostile attacks on. So in the end, when they analyze the situation, they come out with very interesting excuses. During the Ahrar movement, the first claims were, nobody can save them from our hands. And afterwards they said, look here, it was the English, the British who saved them from us. Obviously they were planted by the British, so they saw to it that no harm comes their way. So we tried to help Allah as best as we could, but poor Allah, that was in essence their excuse. This was their analysis, but the true analysis when you look back at their excuse is this, that in the Holy Quran Allah said that when I wanted to destroy anybody, nobody could save him from my wrath. Even if you gathered all your might between me and him, still I would reach him, and nobody would be able to save him from my wrath and destruction which is going to overtake him. Yet the Ihrar said, this verse of the Holy Quran is to be mended. What happened was, Allah was sleeping and kept sleeping. The claimant came and went his way and no harm came his way. When the community started to spread, then we realized that something has happened to our Allah. He is not waking up to the situation. He is not taking law into his own hands. So why shouldn't we take the law into our hands? So we tried to help Allah. But poor Allah, he could not be helped. There was the British might between us and him, or that is from between Allah's side and his side. So everybody clapped and said, this is the most beautiful excuse. We understand why you failed. So after the partition, the British went their way. They became a tale of the past, a story. And a Muslim state came into being. And it was the first Muslim League government which, in alliance with the Ihrars and other hostile elements and Maududis and things, tried to trample Ahmadiyyat out. And they said, they declared, and if you read the pre-53 era reports, you'll be surprised how sure, how positive they are. They say it in so many words, that previously they were the British people who saved them. Now we'll see who stands between us and Ahmadis. And they are positively to be destroyed and completely wiped out. So after 53, what happened? You look at the analysis made by Maulana Maududi and some other Maududites and Ihraris and so many others. The nutshell of that analysis is this, that that in fact what happened was that we understood and the Western bloc understood the dangers of Ahmadiyyat and we wanted to really wipe them out. But unfortunately, the Bengalis did not understand this. And because they held the democratic majority, and the Prime Minister was Khaja Nazmuddin, and he was also a Bengali, he stood in the ways of our wrath and Ahmadiyyat, or the wrath of Allah and Ahmadiyyat. So Bengal saved him. This was in nutshell the analysis. What happened? Allah said, all right, we take Bengal away, like we took British away previously. So you are not left with any excuse. This is exactly the excuse put forward by them in black and white. Imagine. And the second part of it was that also another factor which played its role in this was that it was a provincial movement of Punjab mainly. And it was not a movement by the central government. So, why it could not be the movement of central government? Because of Bengal and other factors. So in fact, two parts were to that analysis. One, there being a provincial movement, and second, there being Bengalis in the way of Ahmadiyyat's destruction. So Allah couldn't help. So they launched a movement in 74. Bengal was no longer there. The central government was that of Bhutto. And he claimed in the most resounding tones that the Sehra, the credit of Ahmadiyyat's destruction will go to me. I have solved the issue which nobody else could solve. Nabi Salman, 90 years old problem. And while he was hanged, just before hanging, he was still saying that I am the solver of the 90 years old problem. And everybody clapped for a while. That a great thing has been to be done. But afterwards, when they had time to lick their wounds and see things in the daylight, they realized that they had gained nothing whatsoever. What happened was, number one, Bhutto along with that party